73-year-old woman in Kyoto wakes up every morning and does something for exactly 60 seconds that scientists say rewires her brain for happiness. It's not meditation, it's not exercise. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why this one tiny habit has kept her sharper and more content than people half her age. But here's what's really fascinating. This is just one of 7 habits that millions of Japanese people practice without even thinking about it. Habits so subtle you'd walk right past them, yet they're secretly engineering better sleep, deeper focus, and a kind of calm that most of us are desperately searching for. Stick with me, because habit number 5 completely changed how I handle stress, and it takes less than 2 minutes. Habit number 1, Kaizen, small steps. Let's start with something that sounds almost too simple to work. The Japanese have this concept called Kaizen. And while most people think it's some corporate buzzword, what it really means is this: improvement in 1-minute increments. Here's the thing. Your brain has a built-in alarm system that freaks out when you try to change too much at once. That's why most New Year's resolutions fail by February. But the Japanese figured out a hack. Instead of saying, I'm going to work out for an hour every day, they ask, what can I do for just 1 minute? 1 minute of stretching, 1 minute of organizing your desk, 1 minute of reading. Sounds ridiculous, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Scientists at UCLA found that when you commit to something for just 60 seconds, your brain doesn't trigger resistance. No willpower required. And after a few days, that 1 minute naturally expands. Not because you're forcing it, but because you've tricked your brain into making it automatic. That 73-year-old woman I mentioned, every morning, she spends exactly 60 seconds tidying one small area. That's it. And her entire home stays immaculate year-round. Now, before you try this, you need to understand habit number 2, because without it, even Kaizen won't stick. Habit number 2. Forest bathing, Shinrin-Yoku. All right, imagine this. You're stressed, overwhelmed, your mind won't shut off. You know you need a break, but scrolling through your phone isn't cutting it anymore. The Japanese have a prescription for this, and it's backed by over 30 years of research. It's called Shinrin-Yoku, or forest bathing. And no, you don't need to live near a forest to do this. Here's what's actually happening. When you're in nature, even a park with a few trees, your body starts producing NK cells. These are natural killer cells that destroy stress and literally boost your immune system. Studies show just 15 minutes can lower your cortisol by 12 to 16%. But the secret isn't just being outside, it's how you're outside. The Japanese don't go for a power walk or listen to podcasts while they do this. They practice something called soft focus, where you let your eyes relax and just absorb the environment without trying to do anything. No goals, no optimization, just being. I started doing this in a small park near my house for 10 minutes every morning, and within a week, I noticed something strange. I was sleeping better, way better. Which brings me to habit number 3, and this one might actually explain why you've been waking up at 3 a.m. Habit number 3, clean as you go. Soji, here's a question. How much time do you spend each week cleaning up big messes? The Japanese rarely have that problem, and it's not because they're naturally tidy, it's because of something called Soji. Soji is this idea that cleaning isn't a separate task you do on the weekend. It's woven into everything you do in real time. You cook dinner, you clean the counter as you go, you finish your coffee, the mug goes straight into the dishwasher. You're done with a project, the workspace gets cleared immediately. This sounds small, but watch what happens. When your environment is cluttered, your brain is in a constant state of low-level stress. You might not even notice it, but studies from Princeton found that visual clutter competes for your attention, making it harder to focus and easier to feel overwhelmed. But here's the genius part. When you clean as you go, you're not just tidying, you're creating micro wins throughout your day. Your brain gets these tiny hits of accomplishment, which build momentum. I tested this for 2 weeks, and I'm not exaggerating when I say my anxiety dropped by what felt like 40%. My mind just felt quieter. But if you really want to feel the difference, you need to combine this with habit number 4, because this next one changes how you experience time itself. Habit number 4, Ichigo, Ichie, one time, one meeting. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you were fully present, not half present, checking your phone every 3 minutes, but actually there? The Japanese have this beautiful concept called Ichigo Ichie. It translates to one time, one meeting. It's the idea that every moment is unique and will never happen again, so you treat it like it matters. Sounds poetic, but here's the practical part. When you bring this mindset into conversations, meals, or even just your morning coffee, you stop living on autopilot. There's actually neuroscience behind this. When you're present, your brain activates the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for memory, emotional regulation, and satisfaction. You literally experience more life. I started practicing this during meals. No phone, no TV, just eating. And something weird happened. Food started tasting better. Not because the food changed, but because I was actually paying attention. But here's the habit that really caught me off guard. Number 5 is something I do now every single day, and it's helped me handle stress better than anything else I've ever tried. Habit number 5, the 5-minute journal, Naikan reflection. This one's based on a Japanese practice called Naikan, which is a form of self-reflection. But don't worry, it's not complicated. Every night before bed, you ask yourself 3 simple questions. What did I receive today? What did I give today? What troubles did I cause? That's it. 5 minutes max. Here's why this works. Most of us end the day replaying everything that went wrong. We ruminate, we stress, and then we wonder why we can't sleep. But when you do this reflection, you're retraining your brain to notice the good stuff. The coffee a coworker brought you, the way you helped someone solve a problem, even the small ways you might have been short with someone, so you can do better tomorrow. Psychologists call this positive reframing, and research shows it reduces anxiety and increases life satisfaction in just 2 weeks. I keep a small notebook by my bed. Every night I write 1 sentence for each question, and I'm not going to lie, it felt awkward at first, but now I actually look forward to it. Now we're almost at the end, but habit number 6 is the one most people skip, and it's the secret to why Japanese spaces feel so calm. Habit number 6, embracing empty space. Quick question, how much stuff is in your home right now that you don't actually need? The Japanese have this concept called which is the intentional use of empty space. It's not about minimalism for aesthetics. It's about creating physical and mental breathing room. When you walk into a traditional Japanese home, you'll notice something immediately. Space, lots of it. Not because they can't afford furniture, but because they understand that emptiness has value. Here's the weird part. When you start removing excess from your environment, your mind starts to feel less crowded too. I tried this in my bedroom. I removed about 30% of what was in there. Random books, old decor, stuff I didn't even notice anymore. And the first night, I slept 45 minutes longer. Coincidence? Maybe, but I don't think so. Now, the final habit, number 7, is the one that ties everything together. And once you understand this, all the other habits start to make perfect sense. Habit number 7, Gaman, quiet endurance. All right, last one. And this might be the most misunderstood. Gaman means enduring the difficult with patience and dignity, but here's what it's not. It's not about suffering in silence or ignoring your problems. It's about recognizing that discomfort is temporary and that you're strong enough to sit with it without reacting impulsively. Think about it. How often do you reach for your phone the second you feel bored, or stress eat when something goes wrong, or buy something you don't need just to feel better? Gaman teaches you to pause, to sit with the discomfort for just a moment longer, and in that pause, you get your power back. I started practicing this in small ways. Traffic? I don't immediately grab my phone. Craving junk food? I wait 10 minutes first, and most of the time, the craving passes. The Japanese aren't superhuman. They just understand that the ability to delay gratification and endure small discomforts is what separates people who thrive from people who stay stuck. So, there you have it. 7 subtle habits that the Japanese have been practicing for generations. You don't need to do all 7 tomorrow. Remember Kaizen? Just pick one, start with 60 seconds, and see what happens. I'd love to know, which habit are you going to try first? Drop a comment below. And if you found this valuable, hit that subscribe button, because I'm breaking down more quiet wisdom like this every single week. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.